working on day 3 now. Om Vishnu Krishna Prasna Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shrunvadi Kastasvami Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchaktaribhyascha kripa sindhubhyacha, Patidana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna devotees. So here we are, the last little statement of our seminar or retreat really on the heart of Vaishnava relationships. And now we're going to have a look at, first of all at least, relationships of seniors with juniors. And after we've been through this, we'll look at a couple of other aspects of Vaishnava relationships also. So here you can see on the screen there's a little footnote underneath the heading. Basic idea is that seniors should have a parental type of attitude towards juniors, which would manifest in practical terms as giving guidance, direction, helping solve problems, giving spiritual nutrition, protection, and encouragement. And protection would include correction from time to time. You probably don't have to give physical protection. So yeah, and this was stated by Narada Muni, if you remember. I don't know if you would remember actually. The verse was 4.8.34. 4.8.34 from Srimad Bhagavatam, which in this regard said that when a devotee meets someone less qualified, then the senior devotee should be compassionate toward him. So now we are going to do a slightly extraordinary thing here. It's not that extraordinary, but it is a little. Because here we're talking about seniors and how they deal with juniors. Not really so much juniors and how they deal with seniors. We already discussed that, at least in simple terms yesterday. So we are going to do a rather extraordinary thing. You know what we're going to do? We are going to geographically position the seniors who are here. Of course, like we said, in one sense, everyone's a senior for somebody, at least. But now I'm actually talking more in a within ISKCON sense. Those of you here who have some sort of like leadership, management type of role where you have at least one or a few devotees under you. So you're senior in that sense and they're junior in that sense. I want you all, if you don't mind, please, to relocate and sit together. That includes Acharya Prabhu, and it includes Sundarananda Prabhu, it includes Maidani Prabhu, it includes this Sundarananda. You can sit in a line or you can sit on the side. And then I would like to at least invite or request Ram Vijay Prabhu to sit in such a group, in that group. See, he's the senior. See, he's the senior. So you should, you have to gravitate in his direction. And I'm wondering, who do we have here, other than those mentioned who are already in the process of relocating? Who do we have here who is, for example, like a head pujari? Mother Malika. And Mother Radnath. Look at that. Thank you very much, ladies. Please head over in that direction. Yeah, that's right. Very good. And who else could arguably... Ananda Shesh Prabhu? You have devotees under you who you direct and instruct and all that? Then okay, then you please head over there too. Yeah. That's a pretty good number. So, okay, fine. Now the rest of you are kind of in natural groups already, just where you're sitting. So if you want to relocate, you're welcome. That we need groups now. I would say like 4s or 5s would be in order. 3 might be fine. You know, I wouldn't want to go less than 3 though, I think. So a little bit of relocating might have to happen. And now, this is what we're going to do. Look at this. This is just something a little different, isn't it? You know, on the first full day, when we are talking about different qualifications, positive attributes, characteristics of a devotee for having good Vaishnava relationships, do you remember who was the first person to suggest some particular quality? Even the person who suggested it can't remember. It was Namacharya Prabhu. And do you remember the quality that he suggested? Loving. Very good, thank you. Yeah. And we're talking about Vaishnava relationships. You know, when you're at work with the boss or the supervisor or whoever, whatever the title is, we don't expect you really to love them. You might admire them, respect them, or something like that. But now here we are, we're in Vaishnava relationships. And, like we said, the very first quality, which was suggested. We had 42, I think. We ended up with 42. The very first one was loving, sort of like a loving mood. So here now we have it looks like we have 2 groups, is it? Or do you want to amalgamate by just coming around into the front? So can you do that? And then to help the ladies with the chairs to sit in front there, facing the others, or alongside or whatever. All right, so this is a very important point. This is our senior group. And we want to find out from them, well, it's written on the board there, please have a look. It's pretty deep. We're talking about the heart of Vaishnava relationships, so this is pretty deep. We want them as seniors, as leaders, to consider, do they love their people or the devotees who are serving under them, who they're sometimes directing, guiding, even sometimes correcting. We want to find out how they feel. Do they feel that they love their people? And if they do, well, yeah, anyway, okay, if they do, how does it manifest? What is the form of it? What does it look like? As like expressions of not just sort of clever arrangements and getting this one to do that and talking another one into doing something they don't want to do, all that sort of thing. But here we're talking about feelings. So do you love your people? And if you do, or to whatever degree you do, how do you express it? And then, do your people love you? And if they do, or to what degree they may do, how do they manifest it? Are you clear on the idea? Okay, and then with everybody else, you are the lead. You are the juniors with great respect and affection. So now the idea for you is, do you feel they and others like them who you may be interacting with, do you feel that they love you? Or do you feel they're just sort of, directing you and just telling you what to do and getting things done? Do you feel that they love you? And to whatever degree you feel they do, how do they express it to you? And, so do they love you? And do you love them? And how do you express, manifest your feelings of affection, appreciation, even as sort of a precursor to affection? How do you feel? Where am I? Do they love you, and do you love them? So how do you manifest your love for them? Are you with me here? I believe this is very important in Vaishnava relationships, because we're not just sort of making a transcendental version of what goes on at work, because all this goes on at work, do this, do that, and so on. But here we're in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so now in your groups, please take up these points and analyze them and write down the points that come up. Any questions? Any confusion?
No confusion. It's just that sometimes the person that we are going to refer to is like very close to me, like my son, for instance.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
No problem.
And also, we may not have had the opportunity to react with all of them.
No, I'm not talking specifically about them.
Oh.
You must now decide what you think about Sundarananda Prabhu from Pretoria.
Yes.
I'm talking about those who you work with.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so it's very relevant, very practical. Those who you are serving under the supervision of.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. Any other? That was an important question. Any other? Please, feel free. If you want a little clarification around the Jayapura. Okay, now that's a fair point. And the way we should do this to make it most practical is that a group discussion with at least a secretary, note taker. I mean, everyone's welcome to make their own notes, but there should be one official note taker who at the end will submit to me. We're not going to ask you to stand up and read out these things. And we will take them in, and we will then see how to apply them. Yeah, in sort of cultured, not non-aggressive ways. But be honest. Don't just be, they say, humble bumble. And, oh, they're just so lovely. And I just love them all. Because we know it's not always like that. So are you with me on that one? You have to figure out who's the note taker or like that. But say what you feel. Yeah. Okay. So you're a group there.